Creation of objects in Illustrator. In Illustrator, we have different objects, but we have two types of objects, parts, alright, or shapes. Now, a line in Illustrator, or an object, is held by a path. And now, we have two types. We have the open objects, or open path objects, and then we have the closed path objects. And these are what we manipulate to get the different logos or items in Illustrator. Let me start by creating a line. I hold at one point, alright, and then go to the other point and release. I've created a line. Or I can just click, alright, and then we get to know which degree of the line we want, maybe 45, and then how many inches can the line be? 6. Okay, so it has created it at a 45 degree angle at the point of creation. Alright, now in case I need a straight line in Illustrator, alright, I go back to the line tool and then click and drag, press shift, and now I have a straight line that is only changing in snap angles of 15 degrees to 45 degrees. Alright, under the same tool we have a small arrow under the tools, and that small arrow, when you long press or right click, you can see other tools that are embedded within that particular tool. For example, we have the arc tool that is also an open object, alright, and then if you just click, you can find the arc. Should it be convex or concave, the distance, and then should it be open or closed, should you fill the arc, and let me click OK, and that's what we have. Okay, now in any case, you may be creating your tool or your line and you're seeing nothing. For example, let me go ahead and create a spiral. Alright, I've created the spiral. I'm going to press space bar to shift each position from the end of the artboard to the middle. So space bar before you release your mouse. Alright, space bar, and then I shift it to this side. But after clicking the direct select tool and click anywhere else, I can't see the object I've just created. But in Illustrator, Control Y is the preview mode, and in this preview mode we can see all other objects and points. Alright, and then we have our spiral, alright, but we can't see it when we go out of the preview mode, Control Y, alright, just because it has no stroke. Alright, so up here we have the fill and the stroke that we shall discuss later. So in any case, if you're creating your object and you can't find it, it has no stroke, and then you can simply select it or press Control Y, alright, select it, go to the stroke and give it a stroke color or a stroke value, okay, and then when I press Control Y again, I can find the stroke of my particular spiral. Alright, let's go detailed into editing these tools again. So I'm going to drag the spiral again, but before you release the right mouse button, it's the left. Before you release the left mouse button, you can press spacebar to shift the position of the object you're creating, up, alright, and then down. Alright, you can see the spirals are increasing and reducing. In most cases with other objects it may be left or right. If you press shift, alright, you drag the object from that center. If you press Alt, you see it's creating spirals while I'm dragging. So these keys may work on certain objects and on other objects it may not work. So these are the keys: left and right, up or down, shift, Alt. So let me press shift and Alt, alright, at the same time. You can see it's dragging uniformly and then creating spirals. Alright, let's see with other tools. We have the rectangular grid, up and down, alright, left and right, alright. Then I'm just dragging, but if I press Alt, it's dragging from its own center. If I press shift, it's dragging uniformly as a square, and if I press shift and Alt, it's dragging from its creation center and then while scaling uniformly. And then if I press the space bar while holding shift and alt, I can manage to change the position, and then that is all before I release. Now I have released. Alright, so there are other objects too. There's the polar grid, same habit, shift and alt. Alright, space bar to change its position. Alright, up and down, left and right. That will depend on your desire. That's with the open paths tools. And then let's go to the closed. Alright, this is just a regular rectangle. If I press shift, it turns into a square. Alright, then alt, dragging from the point of creation. Alright, then space bar, I shift its position. So we under the same, we have the rounded rectangle. Right, up and down, you can see the changes. Left and right, still see the changes. Alright, and then shift, alright, and alt. So you can try with the rest of the tools. Each of the tool will give you different changes according to the style of manipulation. This is a star, right? Up, down, all right, and then alt. Okay, and then we have shift. So this is alt, shift, all right, and then we also have the space bar. So it will depend on what you want to do. Now we also have the flare, and up, down, left and right. It's all up to you to go through.